Hey, what's up, fellow readers? Today I'm reading one-star reviews of books I loved, which will probably trigger me, but that's all right. That's fine, right? It's fine. It's fine. Everything will be fine. If you're new here, my name is Megan, and this is Booking It. Did you notice that new intro, though? If you like that new intro, in the description box down below is the link to the guy that made it. He is amazing. He does great work. And if you need an intro done, check the description box. He's awesome. I recommend him. So the first book that I'm reading a one-star review on is The Sun is Also a Star by Nicole Yoon. I have heard some criticism about this book, but personally I loved it a lot, so I figured we would read a one-star review on it and see what they say. For those of you who don't know this book, I did talk about it in my 5 young adult books that I couldn't put down. It's basically about Natasha, who believes in fact. She doesn't believe in any fate, anything, and she meets Daniel, who believes in fate, in the universe, and that the world has a plan for us. So they meet, and they fall in love, and Natasha doesn't tell Daniel that she's going to be deported the next day. So that's just a quick little blurb about what the book is about. Now let's get right in to the one-star review. So this one-star review says, after 3 days of keeping it on hold, I've decided not to finish this book. Unfortunately, I'm very disappointed in this book. The story of Natasha's deportation was highly interesting, but I was really not happy with the way that things happened between her and Daniel. It was too fast, too unrealistic, and very corny. I usually don't mind reading YA books, but this one just wasn't my cup of tea. Nonetheless, the cover is still a beautiful piece of art. Well, thank you for saying that the cover is a beautiful piece of art, because I totally agree. I love the cover. I love the book. However, I do agree that the book is very fast-paced. It's based in a day, and they fall in love in a day. And I do agree that it's very fast-paced. But if I were in Natasha's shoes and I was being deported the next day, I would want to make the absolute best of my last day. So if I know I'm going to be deported, I might as well fall in love with a nice guy, you know? The thing is, when I started reading this book, I did agree that it was very fast-paced, and I wasn't expecting it to be over a day. But also, when you pick up a YA romance book, most of the time, it's very fast-paced. When you read any YA romance book, you have to know that it's gonna be fast-paced. It's gonna be that they fall in love and it's burning and it's passion and it's everything, because that's what young adults want to read. They want to read that love story. And that's why, honestly, I love this book so much, because we have two polar opposites that completely fall in love, and we have the mystery of if Natasha is getting deported or not. I liked that there were two different perspectives. I liked that they completely fell in love. And honestly, I was a big fan of the ending. I think that it was really good, and without spoilers, I really like the ending. So overall, I partly agree with you that it was pretty fast-paced, and I will admit that, but at the end of the day, a lot of YA romance books are fast-paced. But I think that that's just what you get when you read YA romance, and if you want higher romance, then read some adult romance books, some slow burner romance books, go do that. But this is a great book for YA romance, and I will stick to that. The next one-star review I have is about Shatter by Tahara Mafi. Again, if you haven't seen my last video, I did talk about this in my 5 young adult books that I couldn't put down, so if you're interested in that, it will be in the description box down below. This is a dystopian book. It's about a girl who cannot touch anyone because she kills them. So her touch is lethal, she can't touch them, and she's locked away because of it. In this book, she meets this guy, and basically, he's gonna explain to her why she's in there and try to help her get out. So let's just get right into the one-star review. This review says, this is not a dystopia, it is romance. This is not a novel, it is a collection of similes and metaphors, most of which do not make sense. I originally gave Shatter 2 stars because that's my sort of knee-jerk reaction to books I don't like. But after thinking over it for a while, I can't recall anything positive about it that would justify a rating of more than 1 star. Oh my gosh. Okay, first of all, do I agree with the fact that there are too many similes and metaphors in Shatter? Absolutely. Some of them, they really don't make sense, and I think that's just the author's style of writing. However, the next books, I think they get a little bit better. I think she realizes that, hey, these really don't make much sense. I agree that her writing style is not the best. But that doesn't take away from the fact that this has an amazing plot. A plot like I've never read before, honestly. I mean, you have this girl and her touch is lethal. Just put yourself in her shoes. Like, she can't touch anyone. She can't have love. She can't have hugs. She can't do high fives, anything. She can't touch anyone. And honestly, I thought this plot was amazing. That's one of the reasons that I couldn't put it down. So, besides the fact of the author's writing style, it doesn't take away from the amazing plot and the character development that goes into these books. I think, honestly, a 1-star rating is just... it's just sad. I love this book. If you haven't read it, go read it. Seriously. If you like dystopia, if you like romance, this book, really. I am baffled by this 1-star review. So the third 1-star review that I'm reading is about City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I absolutely love this series. I would read it again. But I do know that there is a lot of talk about it. About plagiarism and just the fact that the books are super slow. So, let's get right into it. Really, there's nothing original or satisfying in the book. She borrowed so heavily from Buffy, Harry Potter, and Star Wars that it sticks out like a sore thumb. It reads like an altered fan fiction, and I love fan fiction, make no mistake, but it's not attempting to make a buck off of someone else's world either, which is essentially what the book is, cobbled fan fiction that has no cohesion. Sorry, I just don't know what to say. Personally, the Shadowhunter world was something like I had never read before. I was completely immersed in the Shadowhunter world and I couldn't wait to read more. If they would have said, like, it's too slow, it has too much information, I totally get that. Because there were points in the books where I was like, wow, I just need to take a break. It's too much information. There's too much description. But to say that it's too copied doesn't really sit well with me. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Star Wars or Buffy, but I have read Harry Potter, and I don't see too much copying. I think the problem that you run into with fantasy is that a lot of the elements are the same. So when you get into fantasy, it's hard to make a world that's completely your own, which is something to keep in mind. Because if you're writing this fantasy world, of course you're writing a world that's your own, but you can't stray too far from the fact that these are mythical creatures and someone else made them up. So I wouldn't focus too hard on the fact that it might have similarities to other books or movies. Because I think that in fantasy, a lot of things overlap, honestly. There are a lot of worlds that overlap, there are a lot of storylines that overlap, just because, like I said, mythical creatures are created by someone else. They're not created by you entirely, unless you're really smart. So I'm going to take this one with a grain of salt. And to this person, I hope you read it again. And I hope you love it as much as everyone else does. Because City of Bones is an awesome book. And The Mortal Instruments is an awesome series. But like I said, I do know that plagiarism has been talked about for the City of Bones and The Mortal Instruments in general. I do keep that in mind when I'm reading these reviews. But I understand. So unfortunately, I'm only reading 3 1-star reviews today just because I didn't want to overwhelm you guys. If you guys like this, I will definitely make a part 2. I have so many books that have unpopular reviews, which I hate, but I like reading them. If you like this, please leave a comment down below, or any books that you want me to do reviews of, let me know. Any video ideas you have, I want to know. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!